UBC, including its Okanagan campus, now has more than 50,000 students, if you can believe that. With pharmacy, your class is about 95. I counted the faces on the picture. And now the classes are 150 plus. 1990s, we brought in a PharmD program, the very first in Canada, and that has been very, very successful. We've also changed the curriculum umpteen times since you left. I'm saying thank God. But I think it's interesting. Excuse me. There's a story about when somebody becomes teen, they get 3 envelopes. And they're told to open these envelopes sequentially as difficulties arise for them. So difficulties do arise for deans, and they open the first envelope and it says, blame your predecessor. That was kind of tough for me, because Dean Riddell was my predecessor, and he was also my director of my master's degree, and he brought me to UBC. I couldn't really blame him for very much. So a little bit more time goes on, and the time came to open the second envelope, which I did, and it says change the curriculum. So I did that. And then eventually the time came when I had to open the third envelope, and it says prepare 3 envelopes. So that's how Frank got the job. And I lasted 12 years, he only lasted 6 because he got too old, he only had to retire at that time. Each curriculum change, I think you'll recognize this from your involvement with students. There's impressive increases in student housing, and there's also market housing. I live on the campus now. I live right behind Gates Tower, close enough to hear the sounds of retching on pit night on Saturday night. And this was an idea brought forward by a guy named Bob Lee, who was the chancellor of the university in the 80s. He said, we're going to create a university town. And that's the idea of it, is to integrate the community at UBC together.
Okay, well, we have a small thing. Oh, Lorna. Where's Lorna? 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 We're supposed to be on a cruise, right? What's that all about? I was sitting there talking to Winnie and May, and I said, you know what, like, Lorna is coming through with this cruise we're all going to go on. And they said, well, no, forget Lorna. She's had it. She's out to lunch. Thanks for coming, Lorna. So those are those guys. I think what we're going to do now, because we're all kind of hungry and everything, is we're going to eat. But before we do that, and we're going to eat these 3 tables, those, you know, kind of like the farthest away than the next, so you guys just watch the food go by if you're back there. So I was told by May, and because what we were going to do here, just so you know, is we're going to start on time at 6, but most of you guys weren't here. So we're running a little short, but we were going to have you all give a little story about something interesting that's happened in your 30 years out there as a pharmacist, right, at your little table. And then we had a little prize for the best story. So we still may ask you guys to share a few little stories about, you know, let's see, there's a bunch of them, but you'll find out. You know, there's something interesting that happened in pharmacy when you were,
This card is a 3-spot card. This card is a 6-spot